Hola, hi there. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Talks with Cessna. Thank you so much for joining me in this week's video. And we are going to be talking about being intentional. Yeah, I know this is something that we really are struggling with, Aki, as humans. We are really struggling with being intentional. And probably we don't even know what being intentional is. Okay, so, according to me, I feel like being intentional, it's a state whereby it's something that comes from the heart. So it's not something like at you're setting goals or you see like how people set their monthly goals, their yearly goals, their weekly goals. It's deeper than that. So it's the why behind your setting of goals. So why am I setting the goals for this week? Why am I setting the goals for my year? Like, what is the reason behind you setting your goals? And for me, that's intention. That's intention. And which, to be very honest, plays a very big role in our day-to-day activities in life, because now when you're intentional about something, you are fulfilled. You get fulfilled about the things that you do. And yeah, a short story about my friendship journey with my best friend. I remember when I was in high school, it was the ghetto. Friendship to me was something that was not substantial. Substantial is a big word. Okay, it was not something that was. And I think when I was joining uni, I remember I told myself, whichever type of group of friends that I'm going to meet, that's the type of friends that I'm going to go with. And thank God, God loves me so much. He was like, I'm going to give you the best. So yeah, I met with Sharon and we started our journey in building our friendship. And I remember I was intentional unconsciously. To be very honest, I did not know the power of being intentional. Aki, I usually say the Cessna who was there 3 years ago, this is a completely different person. If you knew me 3 years ago and you're meeting me now, I'm sorry. We are two different people, very different. Because in that, just my period in uni, I have grown, I have learned. Wow, I was naive, and now it's just, it's a whole growth. It's a whole growth, and I'm so grateful for the growth. So what was I saying? I was talking about my friendship with Sharon. So, by the way, shout out to Sharon. I love you. So, I was being intentional unconsciously. I didn't know I was being intentional because I wanted something. So the why behind me looking for friendship is because I wanted something genuine. I wanted someone who I can rely on. I wanted someone who cares genuinely for me without having any bad or ill feelings towards me, because I think that's what I've been used to. So I wanted genuine friendship. And now in that, I was building it, with me being intentional. Like, I genuinely care. I genuinely want to find out what is wrong. I genuinely want to learn and to grow so that friendship can be built. And yeah, I later found out that I was being intentional unconsciously, which helped a lot, because here we are, 4 years down the line. This is the 5th year. Actually, yeah, this is the 5th year down the line, still our best friends. So many of the people we used to hang around, we don't even know where they went. But here we are, me and her, and I am just so thankful and so grateful to God for her. And that made me realize a lot of things, because I was not being intentional in so many parts of my life, with my friendships, with my family also, with the things I did, with the people I interacted with what I did even at work, wherever, you name it. Because intentionality applies to literally every part of our life. Intentional is that you have to be clear about what you want, then behave and take action in accordance with your values and your principles. So this is the thing. First of all, you have to be very self-aware. When you want to be intentional, you have to be very self-aware. You have to know what you want. You have to know your principles and your values. That's for one. Because now being intentional, it means that you're going to have to work in line with your values and your principles. And if you have no idea what those are, then you're lost. You first have to review yourself. And now when you have your values and your principles in line and intact, then you have to work towards being intentional, because now all the things that you do will revolve around your values and your principles, and that will dictate you being intentional. Because let's say, for example, I'm saved, and I want a group of friends who also know Christ and who are going to pull me or take me towards Christ, you know. So I know what I want, and to work towards what I want, to work towards having a friendship that is going to pull me to Christ, I have to make sure that I am looking for people who are in there. And in that, I'm being intentional, you know, because even I'm being intentional in my relationship with Christ, because I am looking for people who are going to pull me to Him. I don't know if you're getting me. I preach. But yes, I am getting people to pull me to Him. And that in itself is being intentional, because then I'd also want to be of value and of impact to those guys, so that also in my own small little way I can push them to Christ. And that is being intentional. So when you know your values and when you know what you stand for, because I mean, you can't be looking for a boyfriend or a girlfriend who, let's say for example, has no goals in life, and you yourself, you're someone who, you know, you have your goals together, and you want someone who you can also share in that. So to getting that person, you have to be first intentional with your goals, and make sure that you will bring in someone who will push you towards your goals. And in that, you're being intentional, because you have to be intentional in finding this person for you to fulfill your goals. So you have to make sure you know the reason why. Why do I want these goals? Why do I want these goals? Because, you know, being intentional, you're asking yourself the why question. It's the why. And most of the times we don't get to ask ourselves the why question. And I want to, we're doing it because you're doing it. And you know, when you do something just for the sake of doing it, like, why are you working in the job that you're working now? Why are you having the best friend that you're having right now? You know, you don't get to ask yourself those questions. But when you get to ask yourselves those questions, like, why am I working in the job I'm working right now? Why do I have the friends I have right now? Why do I have the girlfriend or the boyfriend I have right now, or the husband or wife I'm having right now? Okay, kwa husband and wife sijafika huko, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. Why do you have? So if you get to answer that question truthfully, you get to realize that when you get to answer that question truthfully, you get to realize that you put in more effort, because there is a reason behind it, you know, and that reason brings fulfillment to you. So there's a reason behind it, and you get to put in more effort in whatever you're doing, in your relationship, in your friendship, in your work. You get to put in more effort because there's a reason why you're doing it. But say, for example, you don't have a why behind it. You just get to do things because they're meant to be done. You go through school, you go through work, and that's it. You just do them for the sake, and now the things are not done to their full potential. But the why behind it gives it more purpose. It gives it more fulfillment to your life, and you even get to detach the outcome. So here's what I've learned about being intentional. When you're intentional about something, you detach the outcome. Now, what do I mean? Detaching the outcome, it means, say for example, you have been working, I'm consistently using the example friendship. Say for example, you are working towards building such a friendship. And you are genuinely and intentionally doing it. So in that moment, you get fulfilled because you know you're doing it intentionally. You're doing things intentionally. You know, you're doing things genuinely, authentically, because it is you, the real you, who is doing it. And even when the friendship doesn't work out, or it does, it's still okay. If it doesn't, you know that you did your best, and that means that that was just not for you, because you know you were intentional about it. I don't know if you get it. You know that you're intentional. Sometimes it might seem as if because I was intentional, why did it not work out? It's because it was not for you. It was genuinely just not for you, and that is why it left. Because if you're intentional about something and it comes your way, it means it's for you, because you genuinely was there and you genuinely did it, you know, like that and like that. But if it didn't, you don't get to feel it. You are actually happy because you know you did it genuinely. So if it didn't work out, then it was just not for you. I don't know if you've ever been in such circumstances. You do things vizuri, with a pure heart, just genuinely and intentionally you're there, and then they don't get to work out. But at the end you're like, well, I know I did my best, so if it didn't work out, it's fine. You detach the outcome when you're intentional about something. The heaviness of the outcome is not as heavy as people feel it. It's kidogo. It's reduced. It's kidogo. And it reminds me of a time I was in life group and we were discussing about suffering. And it was saying how if suffering has a meaning, then it doesn't have a lot of weight than it usually does. And yeah, I think it's the same for intentionality. It's the same, because now you detach from the outcome. And if your suffering has a meaning, like, you know, it says all things work out for the good of those who love God. So if you're going through something, you have hope that all things are going to work out for those who love, because it has a meaning. You know that suffering has a meaning. So, and you know that even in this, all things will always work out for those who love God. So you know you have detached yourself from the outcome, because you know it's okay, because even in that, things are still going to be fine. So it's the same with intentionality. Yeah, you get detached from the outcome, and whichever outcome that comes, you're fulfilled with it, because you were fulfilled when you were doing it, because you were intentional about it. And mind you, by the way, when you're intentional about things, you get to find that you attract the same. You attract people with intention. You attract people who are just genuine and authentic. Yeah, and by the way, when you're intentional, you're just authentic. It's you being the real you. Like, there's no anything. You do things because they're in line with what you want. They're in sync with your life. And I don't know, it's just it's a big thing. It's a big thing, and for us to see it, we have to be intentional about it. That's the point. For us to see it, you have to be intentional. Like, you have, like, as you're watching this video, right? Are you just watching it because you know Cessna? Or are you watching it because you actually want to learn something? You actually want to learn something, and that means it's being intentional. Why are you watching this video? Is there a reason behind why you're watching this video? Yeah, and if you have a reason as to why, then it means, yeah, you are actually doing it intentionally, because you know you learn something here, you pick something here, and now you're intentional about it. You really want to watch them so that you can learn something and grow something. And I feel like if we put intentionality in everything in our life, in our workplaces, in our relationship, in our family, in our friendships, in our day-to-day activities, whatever thing, the smallest thing. Let's say someone has come, like, for example, me. I could give an example of my business. When someone inquires about something on my shop, by the way, on Instagram, it's called the Fashionable Land. Niteka hapa muone. So yeah, and when someone inquires about something, I have to be intentional about it. If I am not intentional with my business, then it means even the customer service that I'm going to give someone, it's not going to be as genuine, and it's not going to be with respect. So it first stems down to, am I intentional with my business? And in that, I know that I have to give quality customer service, utmost respect, handle them with friendliness to my customers, so that they can have the whole customer experience feel. Even it makes them feel good, gives them a positive, like, ushai kuwa attended, ushaenda Safaricom ukakuwa attended. you get out of there feeling, yes, I matter, I value, because they give you quality customer service. And because they're intentional about it. Well, their workers, I wouldn't really know if they're intentional, but that's what they portray. They're intentional about your feedback. They're intentional about what you want, what's the problem, you know. And in that you get to feel, you get to feel fulfilled even. And probably even for them they get fulfilled because now they know that their customers love their customer service and they come back like that every single time. And it adds value to them. So I'm really praying that we get to be intentional with our lives. I pray that you get to be intentional with things you do. It brings you more value. You get to have peace of mind. You get to feel joy. And you know, joy is something that is continuous. So yeah, I really pray that God helps us to be intentional with the things we do, so that we can find fulfillment. Because now when you're intentional, you find fulfillment in the things you do. You don't attach the outcome, and you're in that moment, and the whole experience is what matters. So even when you're looking for friends, when you feel as if, why don't I have a boyfriend? Why don't I have a girlfriend this Valentine's? Oh my God. Ask yourself why. Why do you need? And then just work towards being intentional about it. Work towards being intentional and with your values, with your principles in life, you know. And that goes a long way, because now you get to attract people who are authentic as you are. You get to attract people who are like you and share in the same values and principles as you. And you get to shed off all those people or all those things that you feel are just a burden on your back, that are not for you. So you get to shed off all that when you're intentional. Because I know I lost a lot of people. I know I did when I started bringing in the value of intentionality in my life. And yeah, it's made me realize that there's so much joy in so many things, like just taking a walk. Just taking a walk, just taking a look at nature and being intentional about it. Like, genuinely just looking at that tree and just thinking about all the things that it gives to us, you know. Looking at the clouds and seeing how God created all these things. And like, just be in that moment. Yeah, be in that moment. With your whole body, soul, be there when you're doing something. That's intentionality. Be there. Make sure that your mind is there when you're doing something, so that you can find fulfillment. And yeah, in that you will be intentional. And you know, it's a step at a time, because you know, we are humans. I mean, we make mistakes, and it's not going to be applied everywhere in our lives, but at least 90% of your life, just try and be intentional in the things you do, for you to find fulfillment, for you to just relax and be. So yeah, I guess that's all that I have to say for this video. I really don't like my videos being long, so it's just you pick something small and you move. So thank you so much for being here today and watching this video. Share it with a friend of yours who you feel this video could be beneficial to. And if you also find it beneficial, please just drop a comment and tell me what stood out for you, and yeah, what even you'd like to do in your life to being intentional, the ways in which you can live to be intentional. Yeah, just tell me in the comment section. But thank you so much for being here. And also, before I leave, thank you for 600 subscribers. Woo! I'm so happy. And yeah, have an amazing week. Ta-da!